All right, from an injury perspective, guys, we got Morgan Moses with the knee, Tyron. They'll both be out for today. As much as body maintenance and vet stuff as it is a little bit of an injury there. Hansen won't practice today. John Simpson, ABT. CJ still dealing with the neck. Solly with the knee won't practice. MC2 with his back. From a limited perspective, Chaz and Ashton will come back, and Aaron Rodgers and Tony Adams will be for full participants. So from that standpoint, fired up to get those guys back in the mix, especially for a Wednesday practice, which obviously they've missed the last couple weeks. Excited about this opportunity in Arizona, like a really good opponent that's playing really good football right now, and it's going to be a great test on all three sides of the ball for us. So we're excited about it.
Where are you at guard?
We'll see. There's going to be a lot of different variables. We'll see the health of obviously Hansen and AT and Simpson. We'll see how that goes. Fortunately, Olu went in there amazingly enough. The historical reference about a guy that's never played this position in his life, including Pop Warner, and to play as well as he did was pretty astounding to me. So if he's a guy that's got to play in there, that's a great opportunity for him to play and get some experience, and at the same time, he provides a quality asset for us when he does play. So, we'll see. We've got a lot to assess still from an injury standpoint.
The injured offensive lineman, which one do you think is closest to play?
Well, I think the tackles are going to play for sure, and then I think John Simpson, just based on my conversation with him this morning, he felt way better than he assumed he'd feel this morning, and probably healthier than Zuff, but might have thought he'd been. And then ABT, we'll see. Those high ankles can be tricky, and the zingers that are associated with them. So I'd say I'm probably more hopeful with John than ABT.
One guy we haven't asked in a while, he's on IR, is Wes Schweitzer.
Yeah.
What's taking so long, and what's his prognosis?
He's getting closer, so they're in the process, I think, about fitting him with a kind of a cast mechanism so he can operate with the hand procedure that he had. But he is yet to join us yet in practice. So still getting better.
So John's limited today, or he's not going to practice?
He's not going to practice, yeah.
What is the latest with CJ?
Yeah, he's had a couple procedures on his neck just to see if they can get it to loosen up, and got a little bit more range of motion as of today and yesterday. So still the process of we're not putting him out there until he gets full range and he feels confident in it, and we're hopeful that happens in the next couple weeks here.
Jeff, why didn't it work with Mike Williams here?
For a lot of different reasons, I think at the end of the day, we got to look at this as an opportunity now for Irv and Corley and Zay to get more involved with our offense. So for whatever the reason, for a little bit of us, a little bit of him, a little bit everything. But it's a great opportunity for him too to go out there in Pittsburgh and get an opportunity to maybe get more targets, be more involved.
Can you talk about just the progression of Corley from what you've seen the last few weeks?
Yeah, obviously minus the ball dropping, which is going to be part of his story as he grows and becomes the player we all think he can become, because he's going to grow and learn from it. I see especially a receiver of his caliber with the skill set that he has to be the blocker that he is pretty astounding to me, especially a guy that's young and he's still learning his way. He is violent. He is relentless. He is unselfish in that way. Had a conversation with him, this is a couple weeks ago, and talked to him about you keep blocking like that, we're going to set up a pretty cool play pass off of that, and he's like, Coach, I don't need a play pass. He's like, I need to prove to this team who I am right now, and so he's fully embracing that, and so cool to see.
How did he respond to that the other day?
I thought he responded well. He went out there and he played a physical, violent brand of football, and we're going to count on him in that way, especially with Lazard and Mike being gone now. He'll assume more reps, and he'll be part of that receiving core that is in there to block at times.
You guys bring one of the guys up for the P squad, receiver-wise?
I don't know. We'll see. You got Zay, you got Corley, you got Irv, obviously you got G and Devontae, so still got a strong unit there. So
you guys teach such an aggressive style of football from your defensive line. How much of a challenge does that make then playing a running quarterback like Kyler's when everyone's trying to go up and get the guy that kind of creates running lanes for him? Yeah,
for sure. There is a balance to that. That's hard at times, because especially when you're rushing a guy like him, you want to rush aggressively. I think sometimes when you get into this mode of cage rushing or just keeping him in the pocket and not pressing the pocket, not trying to win, that sounds good. until the guys just start patting the ball and guys start getting open and he starts dicing you from a pass perspective. So it's really a balance, being aggressive, because we're going to continue to be aggressive, but at the same time being smart. It's rushing with vision and length and really understanding the level of the quarterback, when to counter back, when to not, when to stay frontal, when I can play on an edge. So it's all those things, and we got to rush together, and we got to rush smart, because it's a great challenge, because he's as mobile as it gets, as we all know.
How did you feel about your run defense last Thursday?
It needs to continue to get better. It does. We're just and it's fundamentals that we just need to improve. So we need to drill it more, execute it better, obviously, emphasize it more, all those things. To play the brand of football that we want to play and to win like we know we can win with the talent that we have in that locker room, we're going to have to play the run better. There's an element of style to me that, like, great defenses are violent, they're physical, they play the run well. So we need to play it better for that. And two, we need to give our offense more opportunities. When we don't stop the run well, we're limiting time of possession for them. And I believe with the weapons we have on offense, the more ops they get, the more points they're going to score. So we just got to give them the ball more often.
What's the sense of urgency with the trying to stop the run, especially considering the way the Cardinals team is kind of made up?
That's where it's a great opportunity. Like, that is where they're hanging their hat right now. Arizona's going to run the ball, and then they're going to run the ball again. And they don't care if you stop it; they're going to run it again. And it's been the strength of that team, in my opinion, right now. Their willingness to just keep running it regardless of the outcome. So. What better week to prove who we are defensively than to go up against an opponent like this that is leaning on the run as hard as they are and is running the ball as effectively as they are.
What have you thought of Reddick and where do you see him going now that he's been here and you spent some time with him?
Amazing teammate and young man. Like, that's the first part that, I'd never been around him in this capacity. So to spend more time with him and get to know him, I've been blown away of that, the human being that he is, first of all, and the teammate that he is. And then secondly, like you saw, I felt last week like he's getting more and more in not only in football shape, but more and more familiar with what we do defensively from a schematic standpoint. I thought he corrected some of his wrongs from the Patriots game. He was cutting it tight at the top of his rushes, and I mean, the sack that he had is as good as it gets. Understanding not only the pressure that we're in, we're bringing internal pressure, that he had to cut it tight and he couldn't create a big gap escape, but just the efficiency and the timing of his feet and his hands was pretty special. So it's a game that he can build off of for sure.
Are you surprised in any way with Will McDonald's level of production this year?
I would say, like, coming out, we were so excited about him because of all that we had saw from an athletic standpoint and a production standpoint too. And you remember at Iowa State, he didn't play on the edge a lot. He played as an internal guy, which was still mind blowing. For as slight as he was, especially in college. So. We were banking on the athleticism. But until you see it, it's hard to believe it'll happen. And then last week, last year, he had the typical rookie moments of just learning this game and getting familiar with his process and learning how to be a pro. And then I thought this offseason there was just so much growth as far as his process, his understanding of the game. The stuff he was doing outside this building just went to another place. He got a chef, and he really learned about sleep and rest and recovery and regen and all that stuff. So from that standpoint, after what I saw this offseason, like, it's never, you can't just assume it's going to happen, but I knew he was going to have success this year.
With Quincy Williams, he's had a few missed tackles the last couple of weeks. What's going on with that? Yeah,
Quincy is a guy that, from a defensive perspective, that we lean on. He's one of our better players, and he's a guy that creates that spark and those moments of momentum, especially with the big hits that we've just counted on him to make. And I think sometimes when he's not making them on a consistent basis, or he hasn't made one for a second, there's a part of him is like, that's what I'm here for. That's what I do for this defense. And there was a small element of pressing, so it was a good conversation that we've had, and Rudy's had with him this week of just playing a cleaner brand of football, and those plays will come. As long as you just do your job, those plays always do come to you.
What have you seen from Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Too many moments of, like, starting to figure it out, unfortunately, and you can see he's starting to gain a really strong relationship with Kyler. Kyler's superpower, in my opinion, is getting outside the pocket, extending plays, playing off platform. You're starting to see him understand the angles he has to take in those scramble moments. that's a relationship that's going to flourish over the years because those two guys they're made for each other in that way. So we got to account for them. We talk about taking people to deep water. We're going to have to take him to deep water because those plays are going to last a long time from a coverage perspective.
Thanks, everyone.
Sorry.